How's everybody doing today? We got through our first week here. It's Friday. I just wanted to check in, talk about a couple things. And I wanted to start with talking about some of the discussion posts about the Francis Sue article. Um, and one thing I wanted to say is I think it's worth it to take your time and go and read other people's responses because a lot of you are in the same boat. I saw a lot of similarities throughout, and I think it's nice to know that that's how that's what the class is made up of. Okay, and again, before I forget, I always want to say is remember, ask me questions. I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to make videos to answer your questions. Use the tutors and the tutoring center. Um, but stay engaged if you can. That's some of the best advice I could give you. All right, so a couple things that I saw from reading through the discussions. I see a lot of people with mentioning a fear of failure that they've had in math, and I see this come up a lot in response to this article. Um, and I find it interesting because for me, this meme here, this mathematician meme, this what I really do. That's very true. Mathematicians wind up with a lot of paper in the waste paper basket, or at least a lot of erased whiteboards. We make mistakes. That's just the reality of it. We're okay with it. So don't feel like mathematicians never make mistakes. That's just not the way the world works. And failure is not a dirty word. I think it's the path to a growth mindset, so to speak. It's a path to progression, and it's an important part of life, and we have to we it's important to be okay with it. And it only helps in your learning because when you get upset about any sort of failure, is you're blocking that ability to learn from that. And again, it's a lot that you enjoyed the idea of math for understanding and learning for understanding. I'm a big believer in this. Um, I do understand that your nursing program they let people in this and that for grades, but I can't help that. They need some way of distinguishing. I don't think it's the best way. Um, all I can tell you is what to do in order to get your money's worth out of this class, to gain your most understanding out of it. Which brings up another thing I heard a long time ago is education is the one place where people they want to get ripped off. And it's a bit of a shame, and I hope finally over the years I could change that. Over the semester I could change that for you. But it's important that you put in your part and I put in my part, and we concentrate on the important things for you to get your money's worth out of the class. All right. I saw one good quote I really liked. Someone said, "People can take away many things, but they cannot take away what you learn." And this is very true. And I never thought about that, and I really like that one. That's important. I saw a lot of A's don't necessarily imply intelligence, and that's very, very true. Um, I try and grade. My grades are tried to be set up in order to where people that get A's understand the most. But I'm not perfect. Assessing grades is difficult, and I don't kid myself that I'm perfect at it. But I think I do a pretty good job. Also, as far as A's intelligence, same with the IQ test. An IQ test, I think, is BS. I think all it tells you is you're good at taking those types of tests. That's about it. And I think it's a harmful idea because it gets in the way of gaining a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset, which I saw brought up, and I really like that idea. And I know it's difficult, but getting out of that fixed mindset is a great idea. I saw Luke was interested in starting a study group. So if anyone else is, go ahead and find that discussion in there and reply to him or contact me, and I could help you all out. Um, I've seen someone that said they've read this before, and then the teacher really didn't follow through. Again, I'll do my best to follow through. I really believe in this. I think if you talk to previous students of mine, I'd see that I'm very open and really want to help get to that growth mindset. And I did want to mention, if anyone else is interested in reading more from this book, the book is available in the library. All right. And lastly, I saw a lot people mention the struggle and being okay with the struggle, and I get it. It's tough. It's tougher in the beginning to get to the point where you're learning for understanding and not counting points. But I promise you, by the end of the class, you're better off, and it's less time consuming. Because if we could see the relationships, the similarities, and not trying to memorize every single different thing, you're way better off by the time we get to the end of the class, and for retaining the stuff for future use. But yeah, that struggle, I get it. But I think most things in life that are really worthwhile and the things that you remember are going to be a bit of a struggle. All right. I see it even on vacations. When I go on surf trips, sure, do I enjoy those trips where I could, surf for 3 hours and it's maybe waist high or something, and I'm having fun goofing around. I could drink some margaritas on the beach. Yeah, I enjoy it. But it's nothing like the surf trips where I have to white knuckle it and paddle out and overhead surf and, deal with the demons paddling hard. There's just no comparison in which one is more worthwhile. All right. Again, ask questions. Try and use your school email when you're in contact with me. I do want to say I appreciate it. It looks like almost pretty much everyone signed up for the online homework system already. I appreciate that. As you can see, I'm working on the due dates a little bit, but I'll remind you that all homework is due the day before the exam comes live. And I am creating some of these videos while we're going. I just want to mention that's the older videos will do for you. People have been taking this class for a while. My newer videos just a little more specific to how my style of teaching is and what I found to be most important when I teach this course in person. So, moving forward, so some of the things we need to know for, it looks like we're catching on pretty well what we need, but Eagle Online has a lot of our stuff. I think I'd go to content here first, click on content, table of contents. Hopefully everyone read all these things. Affinity here, this is where we get the link to our online homework. All right, and the syllabus, please read it. It's very worthwhile. My instructor schedule is a good idea for seeing where my office hours is and when I may be on campus with other classes that I'm teaching here. And this course calendar, I think that's a good idea to take a look at. This is approximately where I expect you to be each day, or kind of like the videos you should be watching, the homework you should be watching during those days. All right, so this is a good idea. And so, for instance, all the homework from the first module, which includes linear and exponential stuff, because I think that it's important to look at those two together, is going to be due right here, the 22nd, right before Exam 1 comes live. Exam 1 will be due Thursday at midnight. That's in your thing. If you can't get it in by then, you're working at 11:30 and it's going to take you until midnight 30, that's okay. Don't get nervous about it. It accepts late hand-ins, and you just have to, you just post it and it'll tell me how late it is, but it's really not that much of an issue. The nicest though, if you could get close to that so that it's fair for everyone else, so I could grade all the exams and get them back to everyone. Okay. So yeah, take a look at this and let me know if you have any questions with the scheduling. Um, Going back to our content here, notice here's our modules over here. I did combine, these two were separate if you look at the older ones, but I combined it into one module, an A and a B, because they're related. So if you go to my modules here, this is really right now I just have the videos under that you should be watching. I'll try and keep up with this, maybe add some more content when you need it. But there's not much, you watch these videos and you work on some homework, you ask me questions. Let me know. Give me some feedback on the videos. I could change it up as I'm going if you think that there's some things I could add or make them better. It's a little difficult for me. I'm much better in a classroom environment. It's a lot different making videos than it is teaching in front of a live class. So please let me know if you have any. And don't forget, use some of the older stuff if you want to get some extra material and such. All right? So that's mainly the content. As far as your grades, I think that's kind of clear. That'll come up here. I probably still got a little bit to do with the grade book. The assignments. So assignments is where our activities and our exams are. And I do have their due dates now updated on those, so you could see. Generally speaking, besides the linear regression activity, the activities are due just before, or they come out before the exam, and then they're not due until about a week or so after the exam's due, and that's partly how they are. They're a little more difficult than the exams, I would say, but they get you prepared. But what I'd like to see is you work on them, before the exam a little bit, but then you write them up nicely after the exam. That's why I give you that week after the exam, so you could type them up, make it nice. But hopefully go through some of those problems before the exam. And that's a pretty good rundown of what the class is like. I guess just keep me posted. Let me know if there's more information I'm missing here giving you. And have a great weekend.